Hello class, welcome to my channel. This is my first review, so take it easy on me and provide feedback for what you'd like to see in future videos or reviews. If I say something that shows I don't understand something wholly, please let me know. I'm just a regular guy and not a streamer or seasoned content creator. I'll have more about myself on the channel in a separate video linked in the description when it's complete. This is an amateur review. I won't be chasing abstract numbers in the benchmarks. Instead, I'll be discussing this as if I'm talking to those who are highly intelligent but unaware of the hardcore intricacies involved with enthusiast or high-end laptops. As such, you probably won't see a video about thermal pads or repastes. Although I do those things, I don't think they should be necessary, and a product is not good if it requires massive tweaking. Most things should come good from the factory because people want to feel like they are buying a high-end, complete product without hassle. Now for the review, and I apologize for the long introduction. This review will be broken into a few categories. We'll have build quality and size, first things to do with the laptop, on benchmarking and thermals, performance and real-world tasks, value and if you should buy this laptop, and of course conclusions, and a little bit of philosophy at the end. I ordered this Lenovo Legion Y740 on February 11th and received it on February 14th. Lenovo held true to their same-day shipping process for this model and shipped via UPS 3-day select. I'll start with this screen because this is both the Y740's biggest positive and negative. Lenovo touts this as a Dolby Vision ready 144Hz G-Sync panel. That sounds really exciting. Dolby Vision TVs are expensive and G-Sync task is notoriously high. The screen itself has very deep blacks and bright whites, vibrant colors, and is great at showing off the games I threw at it. I'm not a photo editor or a high-end digital content creator, so I can't speak for its absolute color accuracy. However, to the untrained eye, this is a very nice display, and I was pretty taken aback coming from a 15-inch laptop at the size and quality of it. But there are some major issues spreading on Reddit and Notebook Review regarding light bleed. It was immediately noticeable on the laptop the moment I booted it up. It is the worst light bleed I've ever seen on a display. I thought perhaps this was just mine and that I would handle an exchange with Lenovo, but every user I've spoken with has said their unit suffers from this too. A currently unsubstantiated rumor is going around regarding a possible recall and that Lenovo is slowly pulling the ability to order the laptop or pushing orders back. I'm not sure the whole truth on this issue, but it is something certainly to be aware of. In addition, the HDR is a bit disappointing. When you get the laptop, make sure to enable HDR settings in Windows. The easiest way to do this is press the Windows key and type HDR, then go into the menu and enable HDR. Fortunately, the laptop only works with HDR streaming, which is an enormous detriment as games that support it will not give you the option to enable it. I checked in Destiny 2 and was disappointed to see the option grayed out. The build features a nice metal frame accentuated by nice composite materials and Corsair IQ RGB lighting. I personally am a fan of Corsair and have had great interactions with their RMA department, and I own a few devices that already use IQ, so this software was going to be installed regardless. I have two headsets, a keyboard, and a scimitar mouse from Corsair, and they are all able to sync with the profile running on the laptop. If you like RGB, this is pretty cool. So the fit is very nice, with room to spare in an Averki 18.4-inch advanced messenger bag, and also the Alienware Vindicator 2.0 17-inch version. It weighs about 2.8 kilograms or 6.2 pounds, so it isn't as light as some of the other ultralights, but it is acceptable for me, who once had an 11-pound Alienware M17X. The power brick is a proprietary 230-watt Lenovo brick with Lenovo's typical square connector. I have a mini Lenovo power brick rated at 65 watts with the same connector from a Lenovo Flex 3. I tried this to see if the laptop would charge off the smaller adapter in the case. I wanted to have a more portable option to just charge the battery and do office tasks. Unfortunately, the laptop did not show that it was even plugged in when the 65 watt was connected. The keyboard feels nice to type on, and not a single key has felt unresponsive. Keys aren't quiet, but they aren't loud either. I'd say somewhere in the middle of loudness if you've experienced quiet and loud keyboards before. I typed this script up in a couple papers for school and could see myself typing many more without complaint. The speakers sound quite good and loud for a laptop in my honest opinion. Much better than my HP Omen. Though I admit I would sooner play sound through a decent pair of headphones or even a budget soundbar. It isn't bad and certainly one of the best laptops I've had the pleasure of using when it comes to sound, but I'm certainly not an expert in that regard. So, first things to do with the laptop is coming next. First things to do with this laptop. Undervolting the CPU is absolutely necessary. Lowering your turbos is optional but recommended. Pictured is the settings I have in favor of ThrottleStop below. These settings should keep your Y740 below 70 degrees Celsius in all games and benchmarks. I've provided a link to Bob and his channel since he has a very easy to follow guide. I was able to hit negative 0.125 stable, but your mileage may vary and likely be better than mine, since I've seen other i7 8750Hs do a bit better. These settings are linked in the description. So update Lenovo Vantage, the software that comes packaged with the computer. Updating drivers and other things are nice. However, after I updated Lenovo Vantage, I lost the button to boost the fans to high power. I read in the BIOS update that this has been moved to pressing FN plus the Q key. I generally play with surround headphones, so the moment I open a game, I throw it into max fan mode. It sounds like an absolute jet engine, but you won't notice it with headphones on. Bloatware-wise, Lenovo did a good job of limiting the crap on the OS at the start. I downloaded IOBit uninstaller and removed a handful of built-in Windows apps that are otherwise intrinsic to Windows 10, but are useless to me. Otherwise, there really isn't much to do that is unique to this laptop on first boot, and that is a good thing. On benchmarking and thermals. As with many other units with i7 8750H, the thing basically cooks if turbos aren't turned down and undervolting is done. So it benches really high when fresh and cold, giving these illusory fire strike numbers that don't really actually mean anything. As I said in the intro, I will not be chasing these numbers. Most of the highest benchmarks you tend to see are from those who are cold booting and hitting a high score before their system throttles, with a minor bit of overclocking in most cases. I don't own a laptop to set records, so I need to look at these numbers a different way. They show the highest potential for my system, and I'd like to get as close to them as possible without a hassle or endangering my system. In addition, I need to be able to do this in a way that is not frustrating, time-consuming, or requiring a higher amount of skill. To get a sustained bench in Uni-Engine, Ada 64, etc., it will inevitably power throttle unless the turbos are turned down. Turning it down just a tiny bit keeps everything in the 60 degrees Celsius range or low 70s, which is very nice and stable. At this safe setting, the laptop is much quieter, cooler, and never reaches thermal or power throttling. The performance in games is as good as expected for similar spec devices. The choice is easy for me here. Make sure to check my link below for multiple fire strike scores. The lower scores are with the turbos turned down. As you can see, the graphics score is as high or sometimes higher when the turbo for the CPU is turned down. I've also provided a link to my ThrottleStop settings. Without the tweaks, the laptop ranges from 10 to 15 degrees Celsius warmer into the mid to high 80s sometimes. The increase in FPS in Battlefield 5 and Anthem appears to only be in the single digits. As heat is the #1 killer and cause of degradation in a laptop, I would rather go to a cool and safe setting. Now, performance in real-world tasks. The system boots quickly. Files move about as you would expect from something with a Samsung NVMe. Games look beautiful. In gameplay, it seems you can leave the turbos as is and just undervolt. You get a few more FPS, but nothing drastic. I sit between 60 to 100 FPS in Anthem on Ultra. Large action scenes have a dip, but nothing under 60 from what I observed, only at rare points and no lower than the 50s. I assert that this laptop performs to the typical range of i7 8750H processors and 2080 Max-Q equipped laptops. These benchmarks are out in the wild, and if you see these numbers and if it's what you're looking for in these types of games, then you won't be disappointed. Value and if you should buy this laptop. So that said, a little to be desired in my opinion when the game, Anthem, doesn't look dramatically different between medium to ultra and my old system with a 1050 Ti and 7700 can run 40 to 60 FPS stable on medium. Just doesn't feel like a $1,500 to $2,000 upgrade that you would think going from a budget card to the next generation's enthusiast card would. I think this is revealing about the nature of RTX laptops and Max-Q in general. The gimped HDR and light bleed is troublesome. My unit will no doubt be going back to the service center or returned outright. I'm going to be comparing this laptop to some stiff competition before I make a final decision. But overall, the laptop is the best value for its class, and if you can find a student, teacher, or military discount. I paid $2,000 for this laptop, which had a 25% military discount, and this came with 3 years of premium support with accidental damage covered as well, direct from Lenovo. That is a really good value, and most of the 2080 Max-Q laptops are about $30,000. If this is the performance range you were looking for, I think this is no doubt the best buy you can make. That concludes the review of the laptop. Stick around for a quick discussion question. As will be tradition in this channel, I will propose a philosophical problem or issue. Can you identify the principle trying to be identified by the problem, and famous works of fiction based on this? How would you respond? This is from Nietzsche's Twilight of the Idols. What if a demon were to creep after you one night in your loneliest loneliness and say, "This life which you live must be lived by you once again and innumerable times more, and every pain and joy and thought and sigh must come again to you, all in the same sequence. The eternal hourglass will again and again be turned, and you with it, dust of the dust." Would you throw yourself down and gnash your teeth and curse that demon, or would you answer, "Never have I heard anything more divine"? Let me know what you think. What would you answer to this question, and where do you think you've seen this before? Thank you for watching.